On April 9, 2026, NBC's Kristen Welker sits across from Díaz-Canel in Havana, his first appearance on American television since Fidel Castro in 1959. She asks, "Would you be willing to step down to save your country?" He does not answer. He asks if the question comes from the State Department. He smiles. He speaks through a translator. 6 days earlier, in a written interview with Newsweek, no cameras, no video, the same man said this: "Cuba does not fear war. We have a defense doctrine called the war of all the people. If military aggression occurs, we will fight back, we will battle, we will defend ourselves, and should we fall in battle, to die for the homeland is to live." On camera, he deflects. In writing, he threatens guerrilla war and quotes the national anthem. Marco Rubio's response: "I don't think much about what he has to say." Since a U.S. military operation captured Maduro in January and killed 32 Cuban military and police personnel, the regime declared a state of war and designated 2026 the year of preparation for defense.
The military making this threat has 50,000 active troops, down from over 200,000. It ranks 65th globally, 0 operational combat aircraft, MiG-29s completely out of service, 300 tanks from the 1950s through 1970s, mostly in storage, a navy with converted fishing boats. The Defense Intelligence Agency's assessment: not capable of effective operations above the battalion level. What this military does run? GAESA, a business conglomerate controlling 121 hotels, 20 marinas, supermarkets, gas stations, and a bank. Gross profits, approximately 37% of GDP. Revenues, 3.2 times the entire state budget. Pays 0 foreign currency taxes. Not subject to audits. 36% of all state investment from 2021 to 2023 went to hotel construction, more than 11 times the combined spending on health and education. Hotel occupancy in 2025, 18.9%. The military's industrial arm now manufactures soap and furniture. A military that makes soap and runs empty hotels is threatening guerrilla war against the United States?
The doctrine he invoked is not a slogan, it is a legal system. Ley number 75 requires the organized participation of the entire population. The 2019 Constitution declares defense the supreme duty of each Cuban and explicitly prohibits conscientious objection. From primary school, mandatory pioneer bastions and shooting circles. From university, a required course called Preparación para la Defensa, whose stated goal is to produce graduates capable of materializing the war of all the people. Decree number 103 of 2024 imposes fines of up to 7,000 pesos for failing to register for military service at 16. Non-payment within 30 days, criminal proceedings. Self-injury to evade service, 6 months to 5 years. On every block, committees for the defense of the revolution. Roughly 80% of the adult population enrolled. Each block president tracks visitors, work patterns, packages. Letters of recommendation from the committee are required for university admission. The U.S. State Department. CDRs are used to exercise political control, monitor neighbors, and organize rapid response mobs. The one time this doctrine was activated, it was used against Cubans. July 11, 2021, the largest protests since 1959. Citizens demanding food, medicine, electricity, freedom. Díaz-Canel's response: the order to fight has been given. The framework built for foreign invaders was deployed against the Cuban people. Human Rights Watch documented systematic detention and abuse, and the doctrine is still being used. Jonathan David Muir Burgos is 16 years old, the son of an evangelical pastor in Morón. On March 14, 2026, a protest against power outages passed in front of his house. He joined. 2 days later, he and his father answered a police summons. His father was released. Jonathan was not. He is being held at Canaleta Prison in Ciego de Ávila, a maximum security facility. The charge? Sabotage. Under Cuban law, that carries up to 30 years, life imprisonment, or the death penalty. For a 16-year-old, his father, I would have preferred 1,000 times to be imprisoned instead of my son. A habeas corpus petition was rejected. His father says Jonathan continues to suffer from a chronic and now worsening skin condition, requiring constant medication he is not receiving. U.S. Representatives Maria Elvira Salazar and Carlos Jimenez have demanded his release. The regime pardoned 2,010 prisoners in April. Not a single political prisoner was released. Prisoners' Defenders counts 1,214 political prisoners in Cuba as of February 2026. 31 of them are minors.
Cuba posted the Newsweek interview to Facebook, nearly 3,000 comments in under 24 hours. Talking about guerrilla warfare in the 21st century is directly ridiculous. Better worry about the electricity. That guerrilla war would be the people against you yourselves. They want to use the people they've humiliated so much as a shield. Periódico Cubano, the fundamental point is whether the population would want to defend the Castro regime. That population is already aged and tired of broken promises. 14 y Medio reports that Cubans prefer anyone from the US to China or Russia to administer the country as long as the blackouts end.
Díaz-Canel invoked the Mambises, fighters who freed their slaves, demanded democracy, wrote a constitution with separation of powers, and died so Cuba could be free. His government jails a 16-year-old for joining a protest about electricity. José Martí wrote, "To change masters is not to be free. The Mambises would not have fought for this regime. They would have fought against it."